Shema Yasha'Allah Yahweh Allahayanawa Yahweh Ahud. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our power is one Lord. Double honors to my teachers, the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who rule well and are worthy of their double honors. Peace and blessings for you, Akim, pushing out this truth across the four corners during these last sects of time. Kwam Yasha'Allah, mighty Shalom. All right, and this lesson is entitled, A Flood of Events Are to Come. A flood of events are to come. Lord willing, this message is edifying. Starting off in the book of Matthew, chapter 24, and I'll start at the 22nd verse. It says, and except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. So even the times that we're in right now, they're being sped up according to prophecy. All right? You have these events going on throughout the earth. The nations are gearing up for war, their militaries. All right? You have the streets of America, which are filled with turmoil, all right, and uncertainty. You have the stock market. You have the religious system of the society, the education system of the society, all right, the government all spiraling and circling down the drain, all right? But what should be said then? What manner of conversation should we be in, like the scriptures say, all right? Seeing that all these things are going to come to pass, that the Lord is going to deliver, he's going to destroy, all right? What type of mindset should we be in that is prophetical? So it says Matthew 24 and 22, and except those days should be shortened, there shall no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake those days shall be shortened. So that shows you the amount of importance that the elect has in the eyes of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, all right? Because ultimately the elect are going to be the rulers under Yahushua in the kingdom of heaven, all right? So spiritually we know America is already destroyed, all right? We've been delivered, but we just have to have faith to go through it, all right? Because it's already written, okay? So it says Matthew 24 and 37, but as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For as in the days that were before the flood, and that's what it means when it goes into, but as the days of Noah, that's going into Noah. And then you have the antediluvian period, which is the period before the flood, all right, where Noah was preparing the ark, in which 8 souls were saved. You had Noah, Ham, Shem, Japheth, and their 4 wives, all right, which would ultimately liken unto the elect. The Lord delivered them, okay, flooded the earth, and then made a covenant of the rainbow that he would not flood the earth anymore, all right? But there will be a flood, though, but it's going to be by fire, nuclear. So it says Matthew 24 and 37, but as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. Because you had that same incredulity, the disbelief that the Lord is going to rain, all right, fire and brimstone by the form of ICBM nuclear missiles. You had it in the time of Noah because it had not rained yet, okay? The people thought that Noah was foolish, all right, that he had no vision, okay? And that ultimately, like it says in Wisdom of Solomon, the 5th chapter, it goes into when it says, basically, they that counted his life madness. That's the same thing with Noah. Same thing with the prophets of old. They counted their lives madness, all right? And that Yahushua wouldn't return, okay? So Noah prepared an ark unto his salvation, okay? And that's likened unto the elect preparing and building up that wisdom, knowledge, and understanding to ultimately escape that flood of fire, okay? So it says Matthew 24 and 38, for as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, until the day that Noah entered into the ark, and knew not until the flood came and took them all away. So shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. So we're in the exact same time. You have revelings, banquetings, all right? You have marrying and giving in marriage. That's the society is fueled off of marriages. Just like in that movie, They Live, I believe. You had these individuals who had glasses in the movie, and when they put the glasses on, they saw the society for what it truly was. on the signs, instead of regular buildings that were functioning and working and had people going through in and out of them, all right, on those buildings, it really said obey, consume, marry, okay, because that's the underlying agenda in this society and what it's fueled by, man. Okay, so we're in those exact same times right now here in America, Babylon the Great. Okay, so it says, and knew not until the flood came and took them all away, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. And that flood is likened unto judgment on the wicked. And ultimately, that judgment, which the Lord speaks of, that great judgment is going to be by nuclear fire, ICBM nuclear missiles. Okay? Bear with me. This is 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 4. For if God our power spare not the angels that sin, but cast them down to hell, and hell is likened unto a low place, all right, state of captivity, or the grave. America is likened unto hell, the valley of the shadow of death. It says, and deliver them into chains of darkness to be reserved unto judgment. And that's likened unto the hopeful elect. But even though we're in these chains of darkness, the scriptures say we're prisoners of hope. So even though we're in this flesh, which is likened unto chains of darkness, these corruptible bodies, we're prisoners of hope. Because we have a release date, just like a prisoner that's been held captive, and he knows he's expecting that date to be released. That's the hopeful elect. This is Zechariah 9 and 12. Turn you to the stronghold, which is this truth. The name of the Lord is a strong tower. It says, ye prisoners of hope, even today do I declare that I will render double unto thee. So we're prisoners of hope. Even though we're in these chains of darkness to be reserved unto that judgment, okay, that judgment is going to free us. The Lord judging the earth, all right, destroying and delivering, okay. Like it says in Revelation, it says, behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me. So the Lord is sending out these judgments, but his reward is with it. Because these different judgments, these calamities, these pestilence, these famines, they're showing forth who the Lord's chosen is in this society. All right, who the wicked is. Revelation 22 and 12, and behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me, to give every man according as his work shall be. So you can get a reward for doing good. You can get a reward for doing evil. All right. So we're reserved unto that judgment where the Lord is going to release us from these chains of darkness. Like it says in 1 Corinthians 15 chapter, this corruptible must put on incorruptible. This mortal must put on immortality. So it says, verse 4 again, 2 Peter 2 and 4. For if God our power spare not the angels that sinned, but cast them down to hell, and delivered them into chains of darkness to be reserved unto judgment, and spared not the old world, all right, which is the antediluvian period, which means the period prior to the flood, okay? Like it goes into in Genesis, the 5th chapter, Adam all the way down onto Noah, all right? That's a part of the antediluvian period, the period before the Lord flooded the earth, all right? And 8 souls were saved, like the scriptures say. Namely, 8. Bear with me. Might be the same chapter. This is 1 Peter 3 and 20. I started verse 18. For Mashiach also had once suffered for sins, the just for the unjust, that he might bring us to God, being put to death in the flesh, but quickened by the Spirit. And that's Yahushua. All right. He was put to death in the flesh, but guess what? He was rewarded with that eternal life, sit on the right hand side of the Father. Okay. Deliverer, Yahushua, he deliverer. Okay. He was quickened. And it tells us in the book of John that the Son of Man will quicken whom he will. When you go into the word quicken, it goes into invigorate. All right. So we're given spiritual powers through this word. We're invigorated. We're brought back to life. All right. So it says, 1 Peter 3 and 19, by which also he went and preached unto the spirits in prison, which sometime were disobedient, when once the long suffering of our power waited in the days of Noah, while the ark was preparing. See, the Lord is long suffering, just like he is in these times. The Lord is long suffering. All right. While the ark is preparing. All right. While we're about to be delivered in those chariots, what the world ignorantly calls UFOs. All right. While we're about to be taken up in that ark, in those arks, man, that fathership. Okay. That Yahushua is going to come back on. Okay. It says, while the ark was preparing, wherein few, that is 8 souls, were saved by water. And guess what? The elect are going to be saved by that thermonuclear fire. Okay. Which is likened unto, like the scriptures say, the second death. Okay. Which is going to be by fire. There will be a flood again, but it's going to be a flood of fire. All right. Back in 2 Peter 2 and 5, and spare not the old world, but save Noah, the 8th person, a preacher of righteousness, bringing in the flood upon the world of the ungodly. And so it was then, so it will be now. The Lord is going to bring upon a flood of the world of the ungodly, man. In these times, okay, you better believe it. And if you don't believe in the scriptures, guess what? Just wait on it. Just wait and see what the Lord is going to do. Okay, it is time for thee, Lord, to work. So it says, and turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes, condemn them with the overthrow, making them an example unto those that after should live ungodly. So the Lord covered the earth with water, all right, 40 days, 40 nights. He agreed that he wouldn't flood the earth with water again, the rainbow covenant. The Lord turned the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes, but he did those things for an example. He flooded the earth for an example. He rained fire and brimstone on Sodom and Gomorrah and the surrounding cities for an example. And he's going to destroy America for an example. All right? For those after. So we're about to witness and experience the greatest destruction and the deliverance we've ever seen through these different events that the Lord is sending on the earth. Political turmoil, all right, uproars of the people, civil unrest, financial collapse, economic collapse, Jacob's trouble. So a flood of events are to come. Lord willing, this message was edifying. We give infinite honors and praises to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem Harachak Wadash. Lord willing, this message was edifying. Double honors to my teachers, the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings. And to you, Akim, pushing out this truth across the 4 corners during these last 6 of time. Kwam Yasha Allah, mighty Shalom.